This is 2.3, tangent and cotangent graphs. Okay, I want to review what A, B, C, and D are doing to each of your graphs. Okay, so on A, before we called this your amplitude, this is still your amplitude or the height of your wave, but since we're talking about a tangent or a cotangent, we really don't have a wave. So you can call this your vertical magnitude, or you can still call it your amplitude, but basically I'm just seeing how far my tangent or cotangent graph is stretched out instead of seeing how high the wave is. Okay, on B, it helps us see the number of cycles. We're going to use radians or degrees, and we're going to have to use 180 degrees this time, or you're going to use pi, and that's super important. So when you're finding your period, you're going to use pi divided by your B value. Your C value is still your vertical shift, so that's going to be up is your positive and down is your negative. Your horizontal shift is the number that's inside your parentheses, and remember that's your left and right, and remember it's always opposite of what you think it's going to do. And one thing that's important about this is on tangent you shift from the middle point, and on a cotangent graph you shift from the asymptote. Okay, let's go ahead and try a couple of graphs. So it says sketch 2 complete cycles. So this is tangent, and I'm going to start with the amplitude, or you can say vertical magnitude, and that is 2. And I like to go ahead and say this is tangent. Then the period. Remember, with tangent or cotangent, you're always going to start with a pi and divide by pi over 8, and that gives me 8. You're still going to take a critical point, and just like before, you're still going to take the period and you're going to divide by 4. That is 2. Okay, our shifts, we have a shift up of 3, and we have a shift to the right of 1. So if I start my graph, this is the right 1, so this is a positive 1. And then if I have a shift up, this is a positive 3. I'm going to go ahead and do my amplitude or my vertical magnitude. So if this is a positive 3, I'm going to go up to 5. So vertical magnitude of 2 and a vertical magnitude down 2 would give that 1. Okay, now when I graph, since this is my new axis, tangent starts in the middle. So this is my first point right there. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, if this is 1, if I go to the right and do some points here, I'm going to add 2 every time. You could also go to the left if you wanted to. So tangent starts in the middle. Tangent always increases to the right. So you go middle, you increase to the right, and then you have an axis. So I'm just drawing an axis immediately. Why I went to the left is because I didn't have a full point to the left or a full whole graph. So if I were to continue this graph, I would do down, and then I would have an axis or an asymptote, sorry. So this is one full tangent, and it goes from decreasing to increasing. Then I'm going to go ahead and go to the right because this is just one cycle. So I have an asymptote. So I'm going to go from a low point to the middle point to the top point, and then I have an asymptote. They're always surrounded by asymptotes, and tangent goes from decreasing to increasing. If you wanted to, you wouldn't have to go to the left, but you could just continue going to the right as long as you had 2 full tangent lines. Okay, let's try a cotangent. Filling in all your information, I'm going to start with my amplitude or your vertical magnitude, which is exactly the same thing. It is 5. I have a period, and remember you're going to start with pi, divide by pi over 12, which gives me 12. Your critical points, take your period, which is 12, and divide by 4, that's 3. My shifts, I have a downward shift of 3, and I have a shift to the left of 4. Okay, let's go ahead and draw this. Okay, my axes. One thing I didn't do on the previous graph, and I want to make sure to do here, your x-axis is in theta, and this is my y-axis. So to the left, this would be a -4. This is down 3. My amplitude, I'm going to increase and decrease. So if you have -3 and you increase a vertical magnitude of 5, then that would be up 2 and down -8. Now I'm going to add some point. You can go to the left and right, or you can just go to the right. Cotangent decreases as it goes to the right. Also, something you need to know is cotangent starts with an asymptote. So this first line right here, I'm going to go ahead and make it an asymptote. I don't even care what this point is right now. I know it's a top. Then this is a middle. Then this is a bottom. And this is an asymptote again. And I know I'm totally graphing this opposite, but I got started this way. Okay, since this is an asymptote, I'm going to do a top, I'm going to do a middle, and I'm going to do a lower, and then I'm going to do an asymptote again. Okay, I need to go back and do my points since I did not. So if I can fill in my graph, increasing or decreasing from left to right, my cotangent goes from asymptote to asymptote. And again, decreasing from left to right. This would be 1 cycle, 2 cycles. It goes from -4 to 20. You could have gone over here to the left if you'd wanted to. That would have been fine as well. Okay, see you in class.